Hello, I'm Evan with New Life for Old Bikes. In our last episode, we rebuilt the brake calipers on a 1970s vintage road bike. My wife watched the video and asked me, "You mean there's more than one different type of brake caliper?" Well, I pointed out to her that her road bike and her mountain bike had different style brake calipers. But I thought about it afterwards and decided that if she wasn't aware of it, maybe some of you in the audience weren't either. So in this episode, we're going to cover the different styles of brakes that are available for your bike. In front of you are the different types of brake calipers we're going to discuss today. I'll do one at a time so you can see how each one is built. I also have two different styles of brake handles. We'll discuss those as well. I wanted to point out that although there are more brake calipers available than what I have shown, I'm just simply covering the ones available on entry-level and mid-level bicycles. The first type of brake caliper we're going to discuss are the side pull brake calipers. Either one of these is a side pull brake caliper. The one on the top is common for road bikes up through the 1980s. It's also common on the early style mountain bikes from the 1980s and the 1990s. From the 1990s on, you'll find a style that looks like the bottom one, but only on road bikes. This particular one is made of a stamped steel. It can also come as an alloy. The alloy ones are going to be a little thicker and beefier looking. The one on the bottom is only available in alloy. If you have a road bike, the brake handles will look like these. They may have covers over this section, but basically they will look the same. They'll be on a pair of drop-style handlebars. If you have an early mountain bike, it'll be paired with a brake handle that looks like this right here. And it will be paired with either flat bars or riser bars. Next, we're going to discuss center pull brakes. They were only available on road bikes, and they were only available up through the 1980s. They would be paired with this style of brake handle, and they would only be on drop style handlebars. The way they work is there's a straddle cable, and that straddle cable connects both sides of the brakes. Theoretically, this pulls very evenly. Personally, I find a good pair of side pull brakes work just as well. The way this works is the cable drops through a cable hanger and a barrel adjuster that's centered directly over the brakes, and it clamps to the straddle cable. Next, we have cantilever brakes. Cantilever brakes are mostly found on early mountain bikes from the 1980s through the early 2000s. The reason they were put on mountain bikes is since they bolt to the frame, it allows for wider tires. The way they're adjusted is the brake pad is simply moved in or out to center the brake over the wheel. They're generally paired with a set of brake handles that look like this, and they're on either a flat bar or a riser bar. Next, we're going to cover V-brakes. V-brakes are found on most bikes from the early 2000s to the present. They're very powerful brakes because of these long arms. But because of those long arms, they require a lot of leverage to overcome that. So they're generally paired with a set of brake handles that look like this. It is very rare to find them on a road bike with drop bars. The way they're adjusted is there's a screw on the side, and that's used to center the brake over the wheel. And just like cantilevers, these can be used with very wide tires as well. Lastly, I'm going to cover disc brakes. They're fairly new, from the 2010s and newer. The caliper, this part right here, bolts to the frame of the bike, and a disc bolts to the wheel. They're great in wet weather. They're also wonderful in mud, and so this set right here will soon be finding its way onto my mountain bike. I hope you found the information in this episode useful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And don't forget, like and subscribe.